Hello everyone and welcome to the Leo Hobson Podcast. This is a show built around real people and real conversations. And my goal is simple: to learn from others, uncover valuable insights, and to share those stories with you completely free of charge. Now, with that being said, I've never done anything like this before. I have no background in podcasting, filmmaking, editing, or content creation. What I do have is a genuine curiosity about people, their stories, and the lessons they've learned throughout their lives. This podcast is an opportunity for me to learn, grow, and improve with every new episode. And I truly appreciate every single person who chooses to be a part of that journey. Now, if you find yourself enjoying the conversations and would like to see the channel grow, please consider subscribing and following along. It's completely free and it helps more than you might realize. To those of you who already subscribed and followed the channel, thank you. Your support means a great deal, and I promise to bring you better conversations, improve production, and the highest possible quality I can. With that being said, thank you. Thank you for being here, and please enjoy what's to come. Well, Dean, thank you for coming on.
Leo, thanks for having me, man.
I've prepared a little intro for you. It's something I've started to do.
Okay.
So, for everyone watching, today's guest is Dean van Wyk, the reigning BMC Featherweight Champion and one of South Africa's most exciting undefeated MMA prospects. Training out of the renowned Madford MMA gym, Dean has built an impressive undefeated record, captured the BMC Featherweight Championship, and recently completed his first successful title defense against arguably the toughest opponent of his career. Beyond the cage, Dean's journey is one of discipline, resilience, and constant self-improvement, from competing at the highest levels of South African MMA, Jiu-Jitsu, and earning a silver medal at the national championships, to balancing the demands of everyday life with the pursuit of greatness. Dean represents what it means to chase excellence. Today, we are going to dive into his journey, the sacrifices behind the scenes, the mindset required to stay undefeated, his experiences as a champion, and where he sees the future of South African MMA heading. Dean, again, welcome to the podcast.
Making me feel shy here, dude. Wow, that was beautiful, bro. Thank you so much.
Before we get into it, I just got to say I'm a huge fan.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
I think the way you carry yourself in the sport, just how you engage with the fans of the sport, your teammates, the way you carry yourself as an athlete. Yeah. I love it. I love your fighting style.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Getting into all of that, MMA wasn't always the final goal, was it?
Well, yes and no. So, like, ever since I was young, I've always been a fan of like martial arts. I mean, I was a geek growing up. So, you know, like, I feel like in South Africa, most boys have like, it's like a rite of passage discovering Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
So once you discover that, you know, shout out SABC2, you know, they put us onto anime in the Republic of South Africa. I felt like the characters there were just such an inspiration with regards to working hard to overcome adversity. And, you know, I've tried to implement that in my life. And circling back to the MMA topic, for me, originally it was a bucket list thing. So I just wanted to prove to myself that I can do it. I would have been okay with one fight. Right. Like, really, like, even after the first fight I had, I was like, do I want to continue? Because fighting in a cage, it's like, it's a different mindset. And I feel like, because I would describe myself as somebody that feels deeply. So it's not everybody that can go into this primal state in order to defeat another person in unarmed combat. Let's say, like, I think submissions are fine because we both do jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And you know, we've both been doing it for a while, so, you know, like, you could argue the whole point of jiu-jitsu is to subdue somebody there's no strikes. Yes, like they are, you know, there are like injuries and things that happen, but it's hardly ever intentional. Let's say you hold on for a submission too long, or like a freak accident, or you know, falling body weight,
or someone just doesn't want to tap.
Exactly. But with striking, which is included in MMA, it's like for me, like the shock was the ground and pound. So when we're training, it's never, you don't want to hurt your teammates, your friends. So it's like, you're not going 100% when you're training. If you are, you're not a good training partner, because I mean, you know the saying, don't break your toys. You hurt somebody, they're not going to want to train with you again. It just leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. So my first fight, that was the first time that I was like, okay, I don't have to hold back. And you kind of need a certain mindset to be like, okay, this guy didn't do anything to me, but it is a contest that we both signed up for, and I have to win. I tried to win. I have to beat him. So for me, I'll be honest, that was a bit of a shock. Inflicting as much damage as I could. I did win. I managed to win in the third round via TKO. But I think you know me. I think the main reason that I won was not so much the damage, but rather the state of exhaustion that I put my opponent through. So to answer your question, it's like, yeah, you have to like kind of close your heart when you step in there, and then afterwards it's like, okay, now I can be human again. I just feel like not everybody has that, but if you are able to make that shift, I feel like you'll do really well as a fighter.
When it comes to now competing, I always wonder to myself, you know, anyone can kind of sit around and say, no, I'm willing to die for this. I'm willing to die to win.
Yes.
I'll do whatever it takes to win. But are you willing to kill to win?
That's the thing.
Now, how did you navigate that?
Oh, that's a really good question. Wow. So for me, I know, like, I'm a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt, but I haven't gotten a submission win in MMA yet. That's so right. It's funny.
It's quite ironic.
But I feel like I've been having more success with the ground and pound because there's so much more reward in controlling somebody in MMA compared to Jiu-Jitsu. So you know this, in Jiu-Jitsu, your only options are like submissions. So if the person knows, okay, this guy wants this submission, then they'll defend that. Whereas in MMA now you have the submission and you have the ground and pound. So the ground and pound opens, it just creates so many possibilities. Now for me, I feel like ground and pound is the path of least resistance.
To winning.
To winning. Because I have been in situations where I'm like, I see the submission and I attack it, but the guy knows, so he knows all I have to do is defend the submission and I'm fine. Even though I'm technically still winning. But with ground and pound, they're taking damage, and also the optics for the ref, it helps me, like, oh, the guy's taking damage. I should probably like interfere and eventually stop the fight. So that's why when it comes to, like you say, the kill mindset, I feel like my intention is to make them tired, because I feel it takes a lot to get to that mindset. Dude, I don't think everybody has that. I don't think people understand what it takes to like genuinely think like, yeah, I'm gonna kill this guy to win. It's something else. It takes a different kind of mindset, especially because for me.
But do you think it's better to have that approach? Do you think a person that is willing to kill does better in the sport?
I think so. I do think so. But also, for me, I'm kind of on a mission to prove that you don't have to be like that in order to win. That's one of my philosophies, because I view it not so much as gladiator combat, but more a contest of skills, a contest of athleticism. That's my mindset when I go into it, because when you have that, I'm not saying it's wrong. Obviously, like you say, it is the biggest advantage. What other sport do you get besides combat sports or striking combat sports where it's like you are rewarded for that mindset? Maybe rugby, because for me, like
Possibly.
yeah, I consider rugby like the most. It's the only combat sport that's not a combat sport.
Right,
You know,
it
I mean,
is.
I've seen how rough it can get. But yes, it definitely helps to have that mindset. But I feel like that's something you're born with, eh? Like, I feel like it's a personality thing, man. And I do know a few guys that have that mindset. I'm sure you do too.
Of course.
But most people don't have it. And for those people, I try to like show them you can outclass your opponent. Sometimes you have to go into that state, but you can outclass them. That's the philosophy that I try to implement.
So what you're saying is the next best approach would be to now develop your skill set.
That's the most important thing to me. I mean, we've had this discussion many times where it's like, whether it's jiu-jitsu or other areas of life, let's say, for example, your job. Let's say in your job, you're not getting recognized for the work you put in or the skill set that you have, right? But you know you have the skills, and eventually your skills is going to take you to the next level. Never mind what your actual title is. Whether that company acknowledges you for that or the next one, nobody can take those skills away from you. That's why, to me, that's the most important thing. And when it comes to MMA, I'm like, skills, like for me, skills are so important. Like, I can't even describe to you how much it pains me when the more skilled fighter loses. Like, to me, it's just, but skills is not the only attribute that's required to win fights.
Yes.
Right? Like, heart plays a big role, toughness. I would put conditioning in a separate category, because you get guys that are like super fit, but they might not be as skilled. Then you get guys who are super skilled, like you get a lot of talented guys, they pick up on things very easily, but they're not as disciplined or as consistent as others, and that can lead to bad performances and bad results. So it's fascinating, because with MMA in particular, there's so much involved. That's why I've been so drawn to the sport. I like areas where there's lots of versatility and trying different, like I'm using a video game analogy here, but trying different builds.
Right.
You see, grappler, striker, all-rounder. Like, it's not often that you get so many archetypes in whatever sport you're looking at the moment. Yeah.
Of course. So I can tell that you, as you just said, skills to you is very important. Your most recent fight was a huge display on that.
Thank you, bro.
And you talk about the different archetypes.
Yeah.
I felt like your opponent was very rushed and aggressive.
Yes.
What makes you so confident that your skill set will hold up in situations like that? Because most of the time in training, I often found, even for myself in my past experiences, that even though I might have a better skill set, just my opponent's pure like tenacity and brute force almost gets the better of me.
Yeah.
So what made you so sure in that moment? Yeah.
I actually haven't considered that, but what made me sure is, it sounds very bizarre to say, but I honestly feel like I've reached this state of zen when it comes to fighting, and I feel like nationals played a huge role in that, because nationals is probably one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life. To have more than one fight, like in the span of like less than a week.
You fought nationals before that fight, eh?
It was 2 weeks before that fight, yes. So, and also, the weight, managing your weight, bro. It's brutal. And normally the weight cuts for combat sport is you diet a bit, so you're in a slight deficit, targeting the fat. You don't ever want to lose your gains. Like your protein's high, your carbs are high, but you generally want to keep your fat just high enough so that it doesn't disrupt your hormones.
Okay.
Right? But for nationals, it was a bit so for a normal fight, slight deficit, then fight week, cutting sodium, lower carbs, and water loading. That is just to cut the water weight, right? So we've done like the permanent weight loss. It's too late. There's only so much you can do in a week. That's why in a week we're now going to we're going to manipulate the water in our body. So the advantage of that is after you weigh in, you rehydrate, and then you're much heavier than the weight class that you fight at. So let's say, for example, I weigh in at 65.8. Then when I rehydrate, I'd be like 71. So a lot of guys, it's a highly researched topic, but a lot of guys feel like the more weight they cut, the bigger advantage they'll have on fight night. But there's a lot of like debate around that.
Yeah. Because you can be so fatigued after that whole process.
Exactly. And like, let's be honest, that's not good for your body to do that.
No, it looks brutal. I could never do a weight cut.
So good for your body. But with nationals, one of the reasons it was so hard is because my weight had to stay low for 4 days.
Wow.
So I couldn't play with my water.
So how does that work with the rehydration?
So my knowledge on it, I'm not as well versed as my coach and the rest of my teammates because I don't generally cut a lot of weight. I generally walk around close to my fight weight you'll never see me doing like a big cut, like 10 kgs, something like that. So from my limited knowledge, I can say it's important to have electrolytes after you weigh in with lots of water and just have that slowly. And then carbs, just like, especially like on the day that you're fighting, carbs, that's gonna just fill up your body and rehydrate your muscles essentially. Then that way, like, a lot of guys feel the heavier they are, like if they can be bigger than their opponent, they feel like, okay, now I have an advantage. That's what my last opponent, I think that was his strategy. Because he was visibly bigger than me. Many people mentioned that. Many people were saying they were worried for me. They were like, wow. Especially after that first round. Look, I was in the cage, so I felt...
He put the gas on you that round, I must say.
No, he did.
But
gas. I felt, even though I lost the round on the scorecards, I felt fully in control in that fight because I'm always thinking long term. That's just my style, like, invest now, reap the rewards later, even in the context of something that's a 5-round fight. But just going back to nationals, I had to keep my weight down, so I had to diet. And like, unfortunately, when you do that, if you're too aggressive with your cut, you are going to lose muscle mass. But you definitely lose fat, but also what you eat is so important. So I just kept my protein high, kept the fats high, and I was able to cut the weight and carbs low. That was the thing. I was like on a keto diet for like 3 or 4 days before nationals. That did the job. That like just I made weight. But luckily it didn't affect my performance. Like I didn't gas. Because that was like one thing I was thinking about, because they kept warning us about the altitude in Gauteng. Yeah. It's a higher elevation, so they were saying the thinner air is something we have to keep note of.
Yeah,
but
less oxygen and...
Exactly, but I felt like I just went in, like I mentioned earlier, that Zen mindset, just I put the training in. I put the work in terms of conditioning, so now all I need to do is trust in myself, and it sounds bad to say, but whatever happens, bro. That's but like obviously still being alert, still just going out there and trying my best. That's what I was thinking. Because the last thing that I would want is to psych myself out, because if you psych yourself out, you'll be surprised at how tired you get. You get tired so quickly.
Really?
A lot of this is mental, bro. It's mental, because I know a lot of guys that their conditioning might not be so good, but because they're so calm and they're so, I don't want to say chilled, but they're so like in control within their own mind, that they can make that tiny gas tank last all the rounds they need and win the fight and even get the finish.
Yeah.
So that's just so fascinating to me. I feel like the mental side of it is so, I don't want to say it's more important, but it's just as important as the physical preparation. And what helped for me was like exposure. That's why nationals was such a big help, because it put me in like, I don't think at an amateur level you get a scenario that's scarier than that, where it's fighting, you don't know who you're fighting, and you're fighting over a period of 4 days, you don't know who, you don't know anything about the guy. They were telling us, the Western Province coach was telling us we had to post our pictures on Smooth Comp. Smooth Comp is the platform for organizing jiu-jitsu and MMA tournaments. So usually there's the competitors' records are available there. But the guys I faced, no pictures, nothing.
That's so scary.
They don't know anything about them.
Yeah, and you
So
can't go
the first day,
search their Instagram account.
bro, like, I mean, guys aren't private, but like with me,
Exactly.
I used to do that, but with me now, I'm like, I'm open about everything, man. My thing is like, if you trust yourself, then somebody seeing some tape on you shouldn't make a difference. Also, I like to consider myself as somebody that's continuously evolving. So that version of me that you're seeing at that point in time is not going to be the same version that you eventually face. And I like having fun, bro. Like, I know this is a serious thing, but I just like having fun. I like having a laugh and just trying to enjoy life and trying to show people that yes, it is serious, but at the same time, I want everybody to like feel comfortable in a sense. That's why I'm always interacting with people at events.
I love that.
I'm trying to make them see that just because I'm winning doesn't mean that I think I'm better than you. That's just the philosophy that I try to carry with me.
I saw you took a photo with quite a young gentleman.
Yes. Shout out Noah. Noah.
Is he like a champion?
So he is. He's a multiple time national champion at a youth level. I think he's 12 or 13. Just correct me on that if I'm wrong. But yes, very, very humble and talented young man. Very hardworking as well. He trains out of mixed martial arts. That's under Coach Lindell Sandberg. Okay. And I found I'm always running into them, the gym, very, very nice group of people, and him at jiu-jitsu events and at MMA events. And one day he just came up to me and asked me for a picture, and I said, yes, of course. And so in one of the interviews I did, one of the interviewers, shout out Mike Atfield, he asked the three of us who interviewed, asked us, who's your favorite BMC fighter? And I was very surprised to hear Noah say my name. Yeah. And ever since then, you know, we've just been supporting each other, rooting for each other. In my last fight, my sister took a video of my fight, and in the background, I just hear Noah screaming my name, bro. I'm like, of course I have to perform. You know, I can't let the people down. And for me, I try to let go of the outcome and just try to make it an experience for the people. Because I wouldn't consider myself a competitor that's like, I'm gonna sacrifice everything, including the result, to please the people, but I'm gonna try to win, but I wanna make it worth your while. I wanna make it worth people's while, spend their hard-earned money, to sacrifice their Saturday night to come see me fight. I want to make it worth it for you. So that's just what I try to do.
Yeah, I see you don't really play it safe in your style. It's
I try, bro.
even when you're on your feet striking, you're very loose. Hands are kind of
Yeah, I try.
down. You're switching it up. I hope I'm not giving anything
No,
away.
you're not, bro. You're not. Like I said, I'm very open. Like there's only so much you can hide, bro. And the more you fight, the more of yourself you're going to reveal. That's why that's the logic behind my decision to just leave my socials open, because if you look at professional fighters, I'm not saying I'm on that level, but if you look at professional fighters, they've been there, done that, they've done so much. It's like they're not hiding their stuff. Everything is out there. When you compete, you can't hide your performances. That's you putting yourself out there. Training is different. Like I'll hardly ever post training footage because that's where we're cooking in the lab. That's where we're coming up with new stuff. That's where
Fair enough.
That's where you're most vulnerable.
It's also you don't want to expose your teammates at the same
Yeah,
time.
exactly. And your teammates know you inside out. So that's a very important thing, because I could be showing something and I'm looking cool, but then I'm like revealing things about my teammate. So, and that's not cool. So that's why you can comment on anything you want. I'm not in a, no, don't say that, because like everything's out there. So
It's true. I also hate being filmed during training, man.
So what is it that like, why do you say that? What is it exactly about that statement that throws you off?
Because I think martial arts is very black and white. You're either winning or losing, or you're in a good position or a bad position, dominating or being dominated.
Yeah.
So there's I'd say two main reasons that I'd say. So number one is people always turn it up when there's a camera,
That's true.
which I don't like.
Yes.
I say stay yourself.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
keep your cool. But it's like when you have that footage and you want to share it, there's also like, you bettering someone, and you don't want to put that other person down.
Fair.
Which I don't
I
like
feel
personally.
I feel that.
Yeah, dude, and it's, training is also a safe space.
Yes.
I mean, you're not necessarily to go sign up and go fight at a promotion. It's a bit different. You know that there's going to be media attention on you. People are going to come out and watch. You're putting yourself on the line.
Yeah.
When you're training, I found it to be a safe space.
Yes, I agree.
I'm not trying to make a highlight reel out of my
Yes.
training session.
I agree, bro.
Yeah,
I agree.
that I'd say is the big one.
Yeah.
But that being said, going out to put yourself, you're in such a vulnerable state.
Yes.
What kind of interested you in that? What drew you to that? Because I can't say that that's something that intrigues me at all.
That's a very interesting way of putting it. So that is a fact. That is true. But would it surprise you if I said that I never considered that? For me, I just considered the best outcome, but not in a way where I fixate on it. I'm like, I'm gonna go out there, and I think this is the most important thing that puts me at ease. I consider myself to be so defensively sound. Not that I'm, like hyping myself up or anything, but I feel like I know enough to protect myself from the worst case scenario. And the reason I say that is through discovering that myself via endless rounds of sparring and rolling on jiu-jitsu mats, wrestling, boxing, kickboxing. Just because for me, the most important thing about fight, I don't think you should fight if you are not confident in your ability to defend yourself, and I mean that literally.
But what if you never reach that point?
Then that's the risk. A lot of guys are willing to take that risk. And I'm not saying I'm invulnerable. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is I never thought about, I'm so vulnerable, and considered the opposite end of the spectrum, because there's winners and there's losers, right? And I always consider how my opponent feels after the fight or the match. That's why for me it's all respect after the fight. We don't have to be here, but we're choosing to be here. We're choosing to put ourselves on the line. So I'll always respect those who step into the cage or step onto the mat, no matter what. So with that being said, like I said, I consider the destination rather than the outcome, or sorry, the journey rather than the outcome. Whereas like if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna make sure that I tried my best, and the people saw that I tried my best, and that I didn't go down easy. That's my main takeaway to cope with that possibility. Even though it hasn't happened yet, but anything can happen when you step in there. That's the risk we all take. But I'm willing to accept that. To accept that.
Yeah, it's and of course it's different for everyone.
Yes.
But that's a fantastic way to look at it.
Like, just to add on to that quickly, like my coach says, that's why MMA is so fascinating, right? Every fighter has a different thing that switches them on. It's rare that you get a fighter, you put them in the cage or even in sparring, and they immediately just hit it off.
Yeah.
Most fighters need something to happen first so that they can start to gain confidence.
In terms of like a pre-game ritual, or
not pre-game, when you're in there, when the fight's already started.
Oh, when you're in the cage now.
Yes, because you've competed before, so you know competition's different to training. Training is very low stakes, so you don't need much to perform well. You're feeling good
already.
You know what I'm saying?
You're in your comfortable environment.
Yes, but like competition is it's the pressure, and that pressure weighs on now the mental side of things. Because physically you're prepared, but it's the mental side, and in order to deal with that mental obstacle, different fighters have different things that switch them on. For example, some guys, when they make contact, like they get close enough and they grab something, the leg or the upper body, then okay, cool, I can grab this guy, boom. For others, it's like feeling the power of your opponent. I need to feel his power first, or her power first. And I'm like, okay, now I can do my thing.
It switches you on, yeah.
Yes, for others, it's like when they get into a firefight, when both are just swinging, then some, you know what I'm saying? Like some fighters, they thrive in that.
Yeah.
And it's different for everybody. For others, it's like, once I land my first takedown, then I switch on. For others, like, once I can keep this person off of me. Or for others, it's, I want to see what this person does first. Then I'll gain the confidence to go ahead. Yeah,
that takes me back to playing rugby. Oftentimes, you just need to make the first tackle, or just get some...
Just to get into the
grass
game.
on your shorts, yeah.
Yes, like even when I played soccer a very long time ago, it's like, you need to get your first touch.
Yeah.
Once you have your first touch, now you can settle into the... It's exactly like that, bro.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
Yeah. Sure. No, it's interesting. And as a promotion, Bare Bones, how are you enjoying that? Because I think it's such a good setup for amateur fighters.
They're so good. Lionel's been
so
doing
good.
a fantastic job. The media, Ryan, Gonzo, and Mike Adfield, they've just been killing it with the matchmaking, with the marketing, and the events themselves. I mean, I feel like you could argue like this. Bare Bones is the premier amateur MMA event. And
would you say in South Africa?
Not yet. The reason I'm saying that is because of Versus.
Okay, I don't know
So the
much
difference
about Versus.
between Versus, they're based in Gauteng, right? The difference in Versus and Bare Bones is that Versus now has pro fights on their card. So they'll have amateurs and then they'll have pros. But Bare Bones is rapidly approaching that level, because it's just a matter of time now before. I mean, look at how successful the events have been. They're flying guys in from Namibia, so it's international.
Yeah.
We're international now, so it's an honor for me to firstly have been given the opportunity to fight for the belt, and also to continue to be an ambassador, in a sense, for that belt.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like when you do this fighting thing, right, you can be a good fighter, and you don't necessarily have to be a decent person. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should be a role model, because there's so many eyes on you, especially from younger fighters. You'd be surprised at how many people are watching you, especially when you get to the level of, oh, you are now the champion, your name is out there. There's going to be people that know your name now that you don't even know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been a bit of a shock to me, but that's reality. So you have to play your role properly. You can't, when eyes are on you, you should really be, you should try your best to just live a decent life, and treat people properly.
Yeah.
For me, like respect is such a big thing. Just be decent to people, and that's it. I don't think that's asking for too much.
No, not at all.
Like, and I'm not talking about like when two fighters are like, you know, beefing each other. That's fine. That's like within the realm of like promoting the fight, because after the fight it's all love anyway.
Of course.
That's always the case. You always see like
Always.
that's a bond that nobody can take away from you. Like when you fight a guy, win or lose, it's like I said earlier, it's like the level of respect that you guys acquire for one another. It stays there, and that's always going to be there, whether you choose to be mates after that or not. It's like, yes, we fought, and we'll always have that, and nobody can take that away from us.
It's such an intimate experience.
It
for
is,
sure.
bro, because it's like you say, you're putting everything on the line. Your people's here to watch me, my people's here to watch me. There can only be one winner. Yes, sometimes there's a draw, but it's likely there's going to be a winner and a loser, and win with grace, lose with grace. It should go both ways. That's how I feel.
Have you ever had any chats with like Lyndall about the future of BMC or?
I have been present, but maybe not directly with me, but I've been a part of the discussion. But
what is happening there? What could people be looking forward to?
I can give my assumptions, because
Yeah.
obviously, like I'm not sure about what's official or not. But
that would be better. Yeah.
I think that Bare Bones is gonna eventually become a professional promotion, based on the trajectory that it's on now, and I think they'll still have amateur fights on the undercard, because they've done such a fantastic job at building MMA from the ground up. Yes, I know there used to be promotions many years ago prior to COVID, etc. But this is the revival. And Bare Bones is doing so well that other promotions are springing up now, amateur promotions within Cape Town. And I don't think they would have formed without the success of Bare Bones.
Is that like UMC?
Yeah. There's another one that they're yet to have their first event called Grassroots, which I'm very much looking forward to, because Grassroots is focused more on debutants and beginners. So we have a lot of guys in our camp specifically that haven't had a chance to fight yet, but who want to fight. So we're looking forward to that. And that's probably the case in many other gyms. So the more opportunity there is, the better. And I feel like Bare Bones and Lyndall just, they pave that way again. So I love Bare Bones, bro. Whether I'm a champion or not, I'm always following the events. I'm always interested in the movements, in what's happening. So lots to look forward to. It's very exciting.
So what do you also think about guys that pull out of fights?
Depends on the reason, and also when they pull out. Because I know life happens. Many things are out of our control, like injuries, illness. Those are the main two reasons.
Yeah.
But I feel like also the responsibility is on you as a fighter to try your utmost best to not, because that can ruin a whole event. People plan their whole lives around an event. They like not just the fighters, but the coaches and the spectators. So when it gets cancelled, it throws everything off, especially because a training camp it's not easy. I'd argue, and it might be controversial what I'm about to say, but I'd argue the training camp is harder than the fight because it's so much longer. You train for 6 to 8 weeks, 2 to 3 times per day for at an amateur level now for a fight that's either 9 minutes in total or 15 minutes in total. So the work isn't wasted because you get better, you acquire the skills, you elevate as an athlete, but you still want a chance to the fight is your outlet to let all of that build up, pay off, and then afterwards you can come down again. So I am I'd like to think I'm a reasonable person. I'm not gonna just condemn somebody for pulling out, but it has to be fair. Like if you hard sparring in fight week, then that's on you. You're going super hard, and you get a concussion, or you injure your leg, or you injure your arm or something. You probably shouldn't have been doing that, because there isn't anything you can do in the last week or anything hard like that's gonna pay off in the fight. That should have been done within that 6 to 8 week period. It's like when you have an exam coming up, you have 2 hours left to study. Like realistically, what can you further learn after you've already now done, like studied a lot? So that's one example. And then obviously getting sick, that's like out of your control. So I can understand that. But pulling out for any other reason, come on, like, oh.
Do you think guys should be paying deposits?
I think that's not a bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea.
They get that reimbursed with the doctor's notes.
Yes.
I think that would be a fair way to do it.
I think that's a good idea. And
after the fight, you get your deposit returned.
Because look, at amateur level, we ourselves are not getting paid. We choose to be here. But at the same time, we are committing a lot. So even if you're not at your best, just show up. You might still win. It's rare that when you compete, whether it's fighting, jiu-jitsu, rugby, soccer, tennis, whatever, that you're going to be 100%. Everybody always has aches and pains here and there. That's what being active gets you, especially when you commit. Something as simple as strength and conditioning, you might still be feeling that days later. Like, it's rare that you're going to be 100%. So just try, unless it's like something serious, try. So I know a lot of guys, they would fight, they'd have like somewhat of a serious injury, but they'll still compete and they'll win. Because it's like, I just view it as another obstacle to overcome that you can carry yourself with pride for doing, instead of looking for the tiniest reason to not be there. But I am reasonable. Like I say, like, these are valid, and then come on the other side, that's a bit unreasonable. It's not valid.
So you also talk about the fight camp being tougher than the fight.
Yeah.
What does your typical fight camp look like? What kind of sessions are you doing? What's your typical week? And how are you fueling yourself through that? Because I feel like a lot of young athletes don't know much about nutrition.
Yeah.
What is some advice you could also give to those people? Even some of your teammates who might not know, or just the average person.
Yeah. So, that's a really good point. Because if you're on like socials and you know, like let's say Instagram for example, and you're just scrolling reels or whatever, you'll notice that most of the health and fitness content is catered to bodybuilders. So they'll always tell you like, your total calories for the day has to be like so low, like under 2,000.
2 grams of protein.
10,000 steps. The protein
per
advice is
weight.
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like to eat that little, I mean, you're a big boy, bro. You strong, big, fit boy. Like, I know 1,800 calories is not gonna do it for you. That's probably you probably burn more than that, like passively. And even for me, like I'm several weight classes below you, but like that's far too low.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed is that is the general advice for like your average person, for somebody that's not within this field that you and I are in. So they'll probably think, okay, I can be on that diet and then still be an athlete. As an athlete, your main source of sustenance should be carbohydrates. That is the key to performing.
And people are running away from carbohydrates.
But that's the thing, because I think it's because they're prioritizing aesthetics over performance.
Of course. That is the, I hate to say, the common man, you know?
Yeah.
It's very easy to just go to gym 5 times, and I've done it.
Yeah.
That was my life for a little while. Train once a day, get your protein in.
Yeah.
Eat an excess amount of protein.
Yes.
Avoid the carbs.
Yeah.
Look good for the beach in summer.
Yeah.
But when you now doing 2 sessions a day,
Yes.
it's cardio. It's mainly cardio. You know, strength training thrice a week max.
Yeah.
Or minimum, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you need, as you said, carbohydrates.
Yeah. And just to elaborate on that point a bit, I don't think there's anything wrong with that if your goal is to just look good. I think that's okay. Cool, that's fine. But if you want to perform as an athlete in whatever sport you play, you can't do that. You're not gonna, it's gonna destroy your potential, because you're just gonna feel sluggish, you're gonna feel tired, you're gonna feel weak. Whereas like if you have a high carb diet as an athlete, you're constantly fueled for whatever sessions you need. When you do multiple sessions a day, you do strength and conditioning, you do jiu-jitsu, and there's other sports you probably still play in between of that. And you would not be able to get through that if you were not eating properly.
Not without my 2 Wagyu burgers, no.
Exactly.
Not without 2.
Yeah, exactly. So
with the chips.
Yeah, it's so important, especially like to answer your question about the fight camp. So it's 2 to 3 sessions a day, strength and conditioning, and emphasis on conditioning, because like we don't play around when it comes to conditioning.
Yeah.
Air bike, ropes.
No, but explain that for someone who doesn't have the luxury of the kind of coaching we receive.
Okay, so as a fighter, and I might be ruffling some feathers with this one, yeah. As a fighter, I don't back the opinion that you need to go on long runs in order to prepare for fights or be ready for fights. What you do need to do is sprint, because the nature of a fight is it's a sprint. It's 2 guys trying to get the better of each other, or 2 ladies trying to get the better of each other. And it happens in bursts. We'll go, and we'll stop. We'll go, and we'll stop. And what am I describing there? It's a sprint. It's not a long distance run. So I feel like it's these long runs. If you like running, that's fine. And if running is required by your sport, like let's say you're a footballer, you're a rugby player, basketball, then that's also fine. But I'm talking about MMA specifically. You get very little value, in my opinion, from just running long distances. So for conditioning, I would recommend sprinting in any form, but like every combat athlete knows the assault bike is S-tier. That thing will humble you.
Yeah.
No matter how fit you are. That bike's broken me. I'm not ashamed to admit it.
If you do it properly.
If you do it properly. Bike, bro, sheesh. Even if it's just like 10 seconds or 12 seconds, if you put your all into that over like 8 to 12 reps, you come out a changed person after that.
I remember starting out on the bike, man.
I actually forgot about that, bro.
Can't tell you how many times I'd go sit
bro,
in my car
you're so
afterwards.
fit now, bro. You're on such a level. Like you can go away for like 4 weeks, come back on the bike and just kill it. It just shows that you've invested in that. So long term it pays off, even if you take a small break and you come back and you just kill it. But yeah, that would be my advice, is sprinting is so important. Yes, you can go on your zone 2 runs, but it's for completely different like reason, you know. It's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help your cardio. Like the best thing to help your conditioning for your sport is to actually do your sport. But besides that, I feel like for fighting specifically, sprinting, like jiu-jitsu as well, because you know, like when you're scrambling and so on and so forth. But of course, with jiu-jitsu, the weights are equally as important, you know. So
it is. So you got to get your weight training in.
Yeah.
You got to get your carbs in to fuel those sessions.
Yes.
Now, hydration. What are you doing for hydration?
always. That's arguably the most important one. You always need to be hydrated. It's different in fight week when you want to keep it low, but in fight week you're not doing any hard sessions. So you're not doing anything that's going to exert your body. That's where the injuries and illnesses come in. So I always try to make sure that I'm hydrated for my sessions, in between sessions, before sessions, and after. Okay. So just a 5 liter if you can, but if not, like a 1 liter is fine. But yes, always try to stay hydrated if you're an athlete, no matter what sport you play.
So now we've also had discussions off camera.
Yes.
You got your purple belt. How long now?
In February.
In Feb.
Yes.
Feels more recent, but you got your purple belt. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
It's a huge milestone.
Thank you.
In jiu-jitsu, especially. But you told me you were a white belt for, what, 4 or 5 years?
Yes. So I wasn't training consistently enough in order to get graded. At the time, I was studying and then working, so I wasn't as disciplined as I am now. So I found it hard to juggle training, studying, working. So at the time, I was way more of a jiu-jitsu hobbyist, and I wasn't getting many training sessions in. So understandably, you know, it would take longer to get to the next level in terms of promotion.
Yeah.
It was only when I joined Madfit and the competitive nature of the training and the culture where actually competing is highly encouraged, and then once you do well in competition, I feel like there's no better display of your progress than in competition. And for me, it was an honor to be able to be promoted because of the recent success that I've had there. So I did the blue belt grading, which was epic, was amazing. And so I feel like everybody.
That was my first time rolling, you know that.
That's so sick, dude. In the gi or in the gi?
In the gi. Yeah,
yes,
that was my first time. I just graduated that beginners class.
Oh, that was amazing.
And you were the 3rd in row, because it was Glenn, then Shane, and then yourself.
Adam and then me.
Adam.
Yes, Adam Chin. Shout out Adam.
And you were in that corner.
Yes, I still wore the scrum cap that time.
Yeah. So
but I've grown up. I've matured.
So obviously, like we weren't friends then. And I was so like naive to jiu-jitsu. I was so ignorant to what it really was. And you talk about the size and everything. There's a weight difference between us. And I remember, you know, facing you, and I thought, oh, man, this is gonna be fun. and how it works at our gym is everyone lines up along the wall, and everyone was kind of lined up where you were sitting.
Yes.
Man, and I don't know what you were doing to me, bro, but I was playing, what's that game with all the colors and you spread out?
Twister.
I was playing Twister with you.
Damn, bro, wow, that's a throwback, eh?
It is.
Wow, that's a throwback.
And I just hear guys say, do this to him, Dean, do that. And you're in complete control. But that's
the
cool
beauty
memory.
of jiu-jitsu, right?
It's
It's
awesome.
that, I kid you not, well, I can't speak from the perspective of a woman, but every guy goes through that phase where they join, especially when they see somebody smaller, because believe it or not, like I also went through it. You get there and you're like, no, but this guy, like, I've got like 20 Ks in this guy. I'm going to destroy him. If you haven't trained a combat sport before, but like Jiu-Jitsu is special because it's like, you could argue that strength plays a very large factor.
Huge.
Yes.
Huge.
I mean, it's grappling. It's
Yeah.
it's physical contact.
Yeah.
But the beauty of Jiu-Jitsu is that you can use your opponent's size and strength against them
Yeah.
to just turn the favor. And everybody goes through that, and like it's very humbling. It's very humbling, and Jiu-Jitsu is like the one way to quickly kill your ego. But if you can survive that ego death, it just changes your life for the better. And I feel that the guys who stay went through that, and the ones who leave, unfortunately, you know, they just couldn't handle it. But staying is one of the best things that you can do.
I've seen
Which you've done, and look at how it's worked out for you.
Yeah.
Now you're one of the best guys I know. You're so good, especially given like your size. Like usually guys your size, they just brute force their way through, even though they train for long. But what makes you special is that in spite of your strength, in spite of your physicality, you choose to be technical.
Thank you.
That just accelerated your progress so much. And that's where the conversation I had about skills comes into play.
Yeah.
I mean, you're one of the toughest rounds on the mat, bro. I mean, I've had 10-minute rounds with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was special.
And I just want to, just a special shout out, like I did say, those 10-minute rounds is what makes the fights so bearable. Because I'm like, if I can go 10 minutes with you, bro, who's the guy like mine? My size, so yeah, it was amazing. It was so good.
I think it's actually a conversation worth sharing because, we've had heart-to-hearts
Yes,
about
of
our
course.
expectations with the sports.
Yes.
And I've come to you.
Yeah.
You gave me advice early on
I tried to.
in my journey.
Yes.
And you kind of painted the picture of slowing down,
Yes.
skill acquisition, becoming technical.
Yes.
And it has paid off.
I'm so glad to hear that. And I've noticed that you are one of the few people that still loves the gi, because in the modern world, people are abandoning the gi.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing no gi. So it's so nice to see you kind of have that traditionalist mindset and actually enjoy the sport, enjoy the journey. And that's what's made you so good.
Thank you.
Like you are now. So
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But let's have that conversation about the belt acquisition and the expectations, because I remember when I thought I was going to get my blue belt and it didn't come, and I was truthfully devastated.
yes, understandably.
But we had a conversation.
Yes,
And that really helped.
I'm so glad to hear that.
And I think there may be some people who struggle with the idea that it's not really working out for them.
Yeah.
They're not being recognized for what they're putting in.
Yeah.
What would you have to say to those people?
I like that. That's a good topic. So the only reason that I can speak on it is because I've been in that position in the past, and the one thing that stood out to me when I had that mindset is that it's a life of misery if you are going to continue to compare yourself to others and where you feel you should be. And I found when I became detached, in a sense, to rankings and official acknowledgement, everything just came together after that. Once you focus on what's the reason that you started training in the first place. Okay, it's fine if you want to chase belts, but you can't want to chase belts and then wonder why you are unhappy when it doesn't work out with the timeline that you had in mind.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that it's gonna happen when it happens, and when it does happen, it's gonna feel good. But on the way to it happening, you should be looking at the positives of why you're training and what you're getting out of it. You can have a round where you're getting smoked by somebody better than you, and every day this dude just destroys you, annihilates you. But you can have these small wins. Okay, today he didn't take my back. He normally takes my back and he chokes me from there. Today I got subbed twice instead of 5 times. That's improvement. The day after that, okay, I lost the round, but he was so exhausted, which means he had to work so much harder. These tiny wins add up. And apart from that, just looking at, am I getting better? If the answer is yes, then that should be enough. Because the only acknowledgement you need is from yourself. That's how I view it. Like, yes, you can have your mentors and your coaches and your peers acknowledge you, but what's the point if you don't believe in yourself? I feel like you have to believe in yourself before anything, in spite of external factors. So my advice for people like that would be to, I don't want to say don't care about, because it is a big deal when you eventually do get the prize that you were after, right? But I feel like you have to think about getting better rather than somebody else saying you've gotten better. That's what that's just how I view it. That's what's worked for me. Just trying your best and you know, like I said, skill acquisition. Get better on the small things incrementally. Work your way up.
And that can definitely be applied to all things in life, because, you know, not necessarily someone that just does jiu-jitsu, someone
100%.
in business.
100%.
If you, my peers, people that are just starting their careers now,
Yes.
might not get that recognition immediately,
Yeah.
but that advice is perfect.
Yeah.
For the in the sense of focus on the small wins.
Yes.
Focus on your skill development.
Yeah.
Start focusing more long term.
Yeah, and in life, you're not always gonna get your way. So the sooner you can accept that, the better. Like, try and find happiness within. That's just the mentality that I try to implement in my life, because else you're gonna be unhappy. You are going to be unhappy if you're dependent on other people making you feel good. Like, for example, a belt making me feel good, or a promotion making me feel good in terms of your job or whatever. You know you can do the thing. I feel like that should be enough. Eventually you will get acknowledged, but by that point, like, you are already at peace, because you've acknowledged yourself and you believe in yourself. So
yeah, it's a beautiful way to approach it.
I try, bro. Like, you just have to try your best. That's my mentality.
Yeah, I'm very excited to share that with the world, and yeah, I hope.
And I applaud you for bringing that up. You know, it's not easy for people to admit, because, like you say, your training space, it is a vulnerable place. But then again, it's only people that have been where you are that can truly relate to how you felt in the moment.
Yes.
That's why it's like, you know, like, you're a good guy. I really like you. You're a good friend. So, you know, I'll do whatever I can on my end to assist you, whether it's on the mats, off the mats, and just try my best to support. So that's a mentality that I
appreciate
try
that,
to
Dean.
carry, of course, man. Anytime.
With that being said, you know, in closing, before we start wrapping up, I just want to know what's next for you. Do you have any more fights coming up? Is there any news you want to share? You can say no comments. I know we had a discussion off camera before.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, this is going out in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, that's fine. With regards to, like, the fights, I don't have anything lined up. I have had discussions with my coach about who's next. I brought up a few names, but I'm not sure if the stars are gonna align with that one. But at the moment, I'm just training and preparing for whatever is next. Like you say, in life there are gonna be unknowns. So I'm currently dealing with that, but I'm trying to overcome the fear of the unknown, and I feel like that's where I'm at now. So fight news, unfortunately I don't have anything at the moment. But also for what's next, I'm still figuring that out. I do have a plan in mind.
Okay.
But for now, I'm just gonna try and do my thing and just go with the flow. It's just what I try to do, you know.
Well, I'm excited. Unfortunately for those watching, I'm going to get the news first, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then lastly, Dean, in closing of the episode, we have a tradition on the show where everyone I bring on leaves a question with me.
Yes.
Privately.
Okay.
Not knowing who the next person's going to be, and they leave a question. So you'll do that for me.
Yes.
You'll send through a question, and I'll ask the next person I bring on.
Yeah.
Your question though.
Okay.
You've been left with a question.
Okay, let's go.
Your question was, what do you think is the biggest mistake people make in their pursuit to greatness?
I like that question.
It's a good one.
I would say the biggest mistake people can make is abandoning or sacrificing the people in their lives in order to do that. Because I'm of the opinion that you can be great, but if you don't have anybody to share that greatness with, then what's the point? Yes, I know at the end of the day, like, you have yourself, but as humans, we are social beings. And I don't think anybody can be happy being great without anybody at their side. So I feel like the biggest mistake you can make is just sacrificing the people that were there for you, that were a part of your journey. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Brilliant answer. And then Dean, for people who enjoyed this conversation and want to find you, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Dean Wyk, DEANWYK. I usually just post my fight updates and odd meme here and there, but I just try to keep things lighthearted, even though, you know, it's MMA. I just try to be. I try to be as wholesome as possible. But yeah, if you want to find me, that's where you can.
Dean, thank you.
Thank
you for your time.
having me.
This was awesome.
Thank you,
I really enjoyed the chat.
Me too.
There's a lot of value to share.
I
so
appreciate it so
can't
much.
wait.
Thank you so much, Leo.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you. Oh, that was sick. Sheesh.